I hate that I'm asking you this question. Do you think he'd come back? Don't leave the Bay without him. Bring him home. I am Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 67 of the regular season, where the Astros lose 4-3 in the 10th inning. And we're gonna breeze through the game, and we're gonna get there. For starters, Spencer Arrighetti pitched a really solid game for the Astros. 5 2/3 of one-run ball with 6 strikeouts. All you could possibly ask for out of a guy like Spencer Arrighetti. He delivered on his end of the bargain. He gave you into the 6th inning of a good baseball game, of a one-run baseball game. Then in comes Seth Martinez, gets you out of his inning. Then you hand it over to Taylor Scott, unironically the best pitcher on this team. And I can't believe I'm saying that. Is he an all-star representative right now for the team? Like, he's got to be considered. I know, obviously, Yainer Diaz and Jeremy Pena are leading the way, and, like, probably Kyle Tucker, who's just been ridiculous all year. You know, Altuve's probably going to get his name in there as, like, the free space. But, like, dude, Taylor Scott, genuinely, might be an all-star. Josh Hader pitches a nice 9th inning, gets you to the 10th. Rafael Montero, a third of an inning, gives up 3 runs. 2 of them were earned. I'll give him that. It's the extra inning rule. Whatever. Not a good performance out of Montero. I'm going to give him the credit of this is the first time he's kind of had a blow-up in a minute. The offense had 1 run in the first 9 innings of the game. 2 of them came with the extra runner. 1 of them was completely unearned from that extra runner. I give the offense credit for rallying in the 9th inning, or in the 10th inning, pardon me, to get a pair. It falls somewhat at the feet of Montero, and there's the bigger issue with it all, which is this is another game that's just lost in the trenches. It's lost in the murky, muddy waters of manager. And whether you want to say, I don't necessarily think Montero in the 10th was the mistake, because the last time you left Josh Hader out there for an extra inning of work, it backfired. So I'm not saying that was the mistake. I'm not saying that if you put Brian Abreu out there in the 9th, he locks it down. I know he's been worked a bit. I'm not saying Presley was the right decision, because that probably wouldn't have been. But what I am saying is in the 9th inning, there was absolutely no reason whatsoever that Joey Loperfido should not have pinch hit. Why was he brought back up to the team for 3 days to pinch run once and then get sent back down? And I know this is so being that guy about it, but I'll be that guy. I am willing to shoulder the burden of that guy. Why does it feel like this season, every single game that comes down to manager versus manager, it comes down to the crucial decision making? Why does it feel like they all go against him? Every single time this comes down to, it's beyond everything else. It's the managers that decide the game, which isn't every game. But why does it feel like every single time it boils down to that, it goes against them? I was one of the biggest Joe Espada guys on the planet last season. I rallied for him so unbelievably hard. And I was critical of Dusty last season, but I praised him when he deserved it. And I did that every year of Dusty Baker, and I've got to do it for Joe Espada. I don't think I was wrong last season with the information that I was given. I'm going to say that. Because information changes, right? You make a guess. You see what Espada did on the bench for all those years, and you think, yeah, makes sense. He's the clear-cut guy. And I think that was just too much the guesstimation, because he's gotten the full lead this year, and he hasn't been it. To the point where I'm like, man, they should have interviewed some other guys. And I think it's okay. Here's the thing. Here's my thing. And I've said this many times. Making a mistake in sports is not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is when you will not for the life of you or that person involved or the team involved, except that you made a mistake. I'm not saying that they should fire Espada 67 games into his managerial career. But what I am saying is that the Astros at least should be putting feelers out there and considering the fact that they might have been very, 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 very wrong about Espada. And I love him as a person. Everything I've seen about him, I feel good about. I'm not trying to drag Joe Espada, the individual, at all. I am questioning him as a manager. Because I understand that they have played good baseball over the last 40-some-odd games, but that 7-19 start, and it feels like every single time this game boils down to a crucial decision, it doesn't go for the Astros. It ends up as an L. It ends up as a video where I'm trying to think of an excuse or play devil's advocate for the thought process of Espada. And I've got to wear it because I was totally in his camp last season. And I'm not saying I'm out of it, but I am saying the information that I was presented last year made me think, yes, I would love to see him as a manager. And now the information that I have been presented this season has made me go, oh, I take that back, because it has been just ghastly. And that game was so unbelievably winnable for it just to slip away. And I talked about it, I want to say yesterday or Sunday after the game. When you dig yourself a 7-19 hole, you're not allowed to simply be a good team. You have to be a great team to get out of that pit. And losing games like this are not how you get out of the pit. You've got to respond tonight. You've got to find a way to win the game. Gut check. Pull it out. You could have won on Sunday. You didn't. You lose in walk-off fashion. You could have won last night. You had a 2-run lead in the 10th inning, and you let it get away. You cannot allow them to win another game. You have got to get yourself back on the right track. The game is going to be 9:45 Eastern, 8:45 Central. The Astros are going to send Ronel Blanco to the mound. Again, one of the surprises of the season. And the Giants are going to send Aaron Hicks to the mound. Jordan Hicks. Aaron Hicks? Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks. Never can remember which Hicks is the correct Hicks. All I know is that the chick one is the car from Cars. Anyway, I'll be here afterwards to talk about it, but as for right now, that is all I have to say. If you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Astros.